Welcome to the Up Watching Hawaii podcast. I'm your host, Ski Mask Smurfy, aka OG Smurf, aka OG Smurf 826. I'm back. It's been a little minute. You know, as they say, life comes at you fast. Being an adult, shit happens. Last week after the last episode I posted after the Colorado North Dakota State game, your boy called a mean cold. Called a mean cold. Then Saturday night, the lady in my life decided she wanted to see me, and had to take time there. Didn't get as much time to watch college football as I would like. And then Sunday, recovering, family visiting. Then Monday, Labor Day, and because I'm 32 now, I had to be on the grill. So yeah, interesting times, interesting times. But let's get back to it. Let's talk some college football. We had a very good opening week one. Very good week one. After a decent week zero, it was only 4 games, but week zero was good. But week one that's where college football really starts. And man, we had ourselves some good stuff there. Some good stuff, especially LSU versus USC. Very good game to be the prime time Sunday night game. But we're here to talk about the one game that has to be talked about. Well, not just one game. We're just gonna group it all together. We have to talk about the complete, utter, and total state of football within the state of Florida. This is not including FIU, FAU, USF, UCF. We're talking about the three flagship programs here. We're talking about Florida State, Florida, and the University of Miami. And I guess let's start with the good stuff first. Let's start with the good one first. Well, got to talk about the good one and the bad one, and not the worst one. So the good and the bad. We're gonna start with those. The University of Miami went into Gainesville and beat some goddamn ass. They were all over those guys. They went in there and they fucking terrorized them. Miami, the Hurricanes were in there having a ball. They were having a fucking fun time. Like it was back in the 80s, back when Uncle Luke and other notable hip hop figures from Miami were on the sidelines. Man, that's an awful way to go out against one of your state rivals to start the season too. Man, Miami came in there, played a good game. Yo, Cam Ward, Cam Ward was fucking phenomenal. Cam Ward came in there and said, "Huh, hold my beer. I'm this team's leader. I know I'm a transfer. I know I didn't used to be here, but now I am here. And guess what, baby? Washington State playing out there with those Cougars. It don't matter about those Cougars now. It's all about the Canes." And man, oh man, Cam Ward went out there, opened a whole can of beat your ass, and they had no answer for it. They just sat there and looked sad. And then to top it all off, one of the best way to top it all off, going into your opponent's stadium and whipping their ass. I don't know why the University of Florida did this, but they had all of their recruits. They intentionally sat them at the away team's tunnel. I don't know why they did it, but they did. And guess what? If you didn't watch, the University of Miami players took that opportunity to go not just talk to the recruits, they went over there and shook hands with some of them, reaching over the bushes behind the back of the end zone, talking to the players, letting them know, hey, come to death row. Come to Miami, to the University of Miami, play with the Hurricanes. Even more interestingly enough, the little spicy kicker that tops it off, because the recruits are there on the visit, on official visits. What sort of tops it off is the fact that one of the 5-star recruits they had there got talked to and got his hand shaken and dapped up by one of the players who's currently on the University of Miami team, who is roommates with the cousin of that University of Florida recruit. So I'm pretty sure University of Florida, they just lost themselves a 5-star in that game. And man, that it's just crazy to see. Florida, they don't look like they're doing anything this year. They're probably going to be near the bottom of the SEC East. It's not looking good for them. But speaking of bottom of the borough in the state of Florida, Good grief. Florida State, they are they're doing the goddamn unthinkable because I don't know. But week zero throws a couple wrenches into it, but I'm pretty sure in the history of this game. No, I mean they were number 10, but I don't believe in the history of this game. No team has been a preseason top 10 team in the AP poll. Then after week one, not be in the AP poll at all. I'm gonna have to double check this while I'm talking. I'm pretty sure I will have to check, but I don't believe, and I'm checking it. Yeah, Florida State did not get a single AP vote. As you know they ranked the top 25, but then they have the trail list, letting you know all of the other teams that are still getting votes. Yeah, Florida State, not fucking happening. That shit is closed. It is donezo. They are out. But hey, the fun part that I will say is that technically, in Florida, well, there's a lot of technicalities going on right now. One is technically, Florida State could, if somehow, some way they could turn shit around, they could run the table and still be in the college football playoff. Especially if they have the opportunity to somehow, some way make the ACC conference championship. But that may not be likely to making the conference championship because the ACT is one going to no division. They have no divisions now, and two, they lost to Georgia Tech and Boston College. Their first two games of the season are against ACC opponents, so they don't have enough ACC games left to possibly, if they were to win out to make the conference championship. That's that's one thing, but also, yeah, Boston College came and beat their ass, man. They were. Well, I will say this. Also, what's to the detriment of Florida State is the fact that yeah, both of their first two games not only being nationally televised, but also nationally televised and were the only game on during their time block because they had the noon game for the Irish Football Classic. That was at that noon time, and it was the only game on because it was only four games for week zero, so they spaced them out. And then for Labor Day, they're playing on Labor Day. They're the only team playing on Labor Day, so they've been getting their asses handed to them live in front of everybody, and especially Boston College coming in, holding them to 13 and hanging 28 in their house. Them and Florida both look awful. I think, honestly, Florida would probably have been the laughing talk in the state of Florida in terms of college football. But god damn it, Saturday, Florida gets their shit kicked in. And god damn it, on Monday, Florida State allows foot to be put to ass. Because Boston College kept going. And then Dino Thomas, the son, Dino Tomlin, excuse me, the son of Pittsburgh Steelers head coach Mike Tomlin, he was out there, put on a nice display. And man, oh man, it's crazy. It's crazy. I mean, people say they've been 0-3 since they decided to see the ACC. I'm not even going to harp on that because, I mean, that's the story that people are enjoying making fun of. But even calling it 0-3, I would say they're just 0-2 because, let's be honest, everybody, if you watch college football over the past decade, you've seen the shift. You know how things are, especially with Leonard Fournette and Christian McCaffrey sort of started this mess. Well, not mess, but this very good thing that players do. That if you're not competing for the championship, you're sitting out of that bowl game. And now to throw even more spice onto it, if you put yourself in the transfer portal, you're also not playing that bowl game. So bowl games, if they weren't in the college football playoff, and now definitely in the 12 team playoff, if they're not in the college football playoff and the 12 team playoff, bowl games, they're just over glorified cross team scrimmages. Gives coaches a nice look at what they actually have in the depth of their team. So not even count that loss, but this thing. it gives a lot of topics because it's like, wait, is Mike Norvell after going 13-0, is he now on the fucking hot seat? Like that's one of the things people are thinking is like, hey, you know, we saw what happened his first two seasons here. Is he reverting back to his old ways after putting up a 10-1 season and then a 13-1 season? Who knows if they're going to put him in the hot seat? These blue blood programs, I will tell you, they are unpredictable in their vengeance seeking and their need to win and doing it at any and all costs. As I spoke about in the previous episode with Ohio State spending $20 million in NIL on the current roster they have. But that's neither here nor there. That's Mike Norvell. If he loses the next game, which let me see, is their next game against who? Memphis? Oh shit. It's not this week, but next week. If they were to lose to Memphis, he might be on the hot seat. Or even Cal. California's coming in the week after that on the 21st. They lose to Memphis or Cal. He might be on the hot seat. They might start thinking, yeah, this nigga gotta go. But that's one topic to harp on. Another topic I will harp on is definitely should how can I phrase this? I would say telling this definitely shows that telling Florida State to get over not being in the playoff last year is a dumb statement to make because look at how the roster turned over. Like it's extremely crazy. Like it's one of the reasons why people say sports are different than any other version of TV. Because with sports, when you watch that game live, it's it's only happening that way in these conditions are live and dynamic, and you can't recreate the exact conditions of a game. The player's mind state, the player's physical state, the state of the field, when all of that yada yada. And I will say, yeah, the turnover between the rosters, like, yeah, people just basically told them, well, shut up, you guys will be in it next year. And it's like, there's no guarantee with that. Like, look how much the roster can turn over. I mean, look at look at my Wolverines, as a Michigan alum. Look at all the guys we lost to the NFL last season. There's no guarantee we're gonna be a playoff team this season. Even though I'm feeling pretty good about it, and we'll definitely find out this week against Texas. That's another conversation for another day. But the roster turnover. Now, I mean, even before when most in college football, your roster turnover is the roster you had last year. It's not going to be the same. It's not going to be similar this year. But now with the transfer portal, you could the the guys who you have playing most of your downs can completely turn over. Complete turnover. I'm not saying everyone's going to be the University of Colorado with Coach Prime, but the turnover you're going to have on teams is it's so extreme where it's like, hey, you miss an opportunity to be in the playoff. You're not guaranteed to get that chance again, even with a good coach. It was just sort of like, man, this makes me feel even worse for the Florida State team they had last year because the defense wasn't getting pushed around last year like they've been getting pushed around this year, and the offense had a little bit more click. Even though with Jordan getting injured, their quarterback having to step up last second and try to put something together against a very stiff strong Louisville defense in the ACC Conference Championship game, man, you would want to say, hey, if we gave that kid a month to truly get up to speed after picking apart this film against playing such a great defense, maybe they could have won it all. Who knows? I wouldn't say they're going to beat us, but you never know. It's in any given Sunday. There's a reason we say that phrase. The reason the movie's called it. You never know what the fuck can happen, but this makes me feel a way like, hey, last year they should have got in because now they might not make it. Sometimes you only get one chance to do this thing. Like you hear a lot of guys say about, Super Bowls or NBA Finals, World Series. Guys talk, you know, young guys always talk about, okay, we didn't win it this time. We're gonna be back. We're gonna do it. Then the older guys, they talk about they'll say to the end, it's like, hey, we're winning. We need to win this shit now because there's no guarantee you're gonna be back. You got guys who've appeared in Super Bowls, stuff like that. Be like, hey, yeah. In my third year in the league, I was in the Super Bowl. I'm now my 15th year in the league, and I'm just getting back there. Like, there's no guarantee, and it makes me feel that way for Florida State. Like, they have a real gripe about not being in the college football playoff last year, and I mean, they're probably going to bring it up forever, and deservedly so. But they might gotta lay low on that. And moving on to another aspect of Florida State is DJ Uiagalelei. Man, oh man, it's it's been pretty tough on the kid. I mean, I'm looking at his QBR right now. His QBR, even though I still don't consider QBR a real stat, they're grading him out to be a damn near completely average quarterback. 49.8, they're saying he's deadly average. That's, QBR works on a scale of 0 to 100, with 50 being in the middle, meaning literally you're in the middle. This isn't like, oh, average is a 70 or what have you, as we try to slide the scales for some reason. No, 50 means you're perfectly average, and they're saying DJ's 49.8, they're saying he's damn near perfectly an average quarterback looking across the landscape of college football. Which, hey, he maybe he is. Maybe he is. It doesn't look good, as I just said previously. His first two games have been in prime time, not just prime time, they've been the only game in their time slot in prime time. It doesn't look good because we can overanalyze and pick apart the things he's doing. We see him and not other quarterbacks. And the main thing I would say, I've looked at him and watched him. I've seen people post clips about it, and it's like, hey, the quarterback we're seeing now, this is not the quarterback that was at Clemson and at Oregon State. Like, this quarterback, it seems like he's got. I don't want to say it because I don't want to jinx him with anything, but it looks like he's got a case of the goddamn yips. It's like he's lost something mentally, and he's not putting things together the way he used to. I mean, at Clemson he wasn't a world beater, which people got upset about because they had Deshaun Watson and Trevor Lawrence, which you see what those guys are doing in the NFL. And they thought DJ should have just immediately been one of those guys. But not every quarterback you're gonna bring into a program is gonna be the the savior. But I feel bad for DJ because it's like he's not looking like the quarterback he used to be. Like, his throwing, the way his reads and everything is it's like we're watching a completely different quarterback than we originally saw, and it's weird, right? Like, if you're an ACC fan or someone who's situated on the East Coast, like myself, being born and raised and currently living in Virginia, it's you've seen a decent amount of Clemson football, and you saw his old games, and like, you can go back and pull up clips. People have been doing that. Go back and pull up his old game footage, and it's like, yeah, even though he wasn't a world beater at Clemson, he was a better quarterback than we're seeing now, and it's weird. Like, something's off, something's not clicking, and I do hope he's able to get it together, and reestablish himself, because people on the internet calling him. I mean, it's hilarious. It's hilarious, but you got to feel bad a little bit because everybody's calling him DJ. You need to get a job instead of DJ. You call this man DJ. You need to get a job. Is it's it's got to be rough. And then also, I will say this because folks have posted it, but also I will say this in regards as a perfect example of why the college football game that came out this year, the video game, why recruiting 5 stars doesn't automatically mean they're going to be great, and that some of these guys can actually be duds once you get them on your team through their development over the years, is someone showed that, hey, DJ was the number 2 quarterback in his recruiting class, in which, yes, he was a 5 star. The quarterback, the quarterback above him was Bryce Young, and the quarterback below him was CJ Stroud. All three of these guys are 5 stars, but one guy's currently still playing college football and not looking the best at it. And the other two are currently going for their second seasons in the NFL. So yeah, it it's a crapshoot with seeing how a high school is going to track through 4 years of playing, 3 or 4 years of playing the sport. You can't perfectly bet on it because there's a lot that goes into it, and that's reflected in the video game. And I hope DJ and Mike Norvell figure out a way to re-trigger, combine, and get out the thing in him that made him a 5 star and let him show that he deserved to be a 5 star. I hope that can turn around. But if you're a fan of University of Florida or University of Miami, I'm pretty sure you're saying fuck all that nonsense and want things to keep going downhill. And hey, I'm not mad at you. You gotta hate your rivals. Hey, hey, I want the suck eyes to always suck. I want them to not win. So, hey, I understand, but this is a little bit longer than I wanted to be. I want to try to keep it right around 10 to 12 minutes because I want you guys to be able to listen to this on like your drive to work or what have you. But this is a little bit longer. I got to give you guys a little bit more content because your boy's just getting back. Hey, come on. But this is Up Watching Hawaii Podcast. I'm Ski Master Murphy. I'm signing off. Hey, keep liking and subscribing. Tell your friends about this podcast if you enjoy it. Spread it around. I'm trying to make it available on a lot of platforms, but hey, if you got, if you can connect somehow to Spotify or you got an RSS reader slash feed thing, or you got Apple Podcasts, you can find me. Or like most people are able to do, because Google is the number one search in that search search engine. Hey, find me on YouTube because I put the same audio up in a video form on YouTube. You're not gonna see anything; it's just gonna be the logo, but hey, you can find it there as well. But signing off, Ski Mask Murphy, aka OG Smurf 826. This is Up Watching Hawaii Podcast. Appreciate you, love you. Come back for more.